Hello and welcome to my 7th F1 chat. My name is Alex as F1 Stuff, and in this, what am I going to call it? Why have I forgotten what my series is called? My name is Alex as F1 Stuff, and in this F1 chat, we will be covering two sort of news topics and a little chit-chat thing at the end. The first topic being Giovinazzi and Jenson Button have also agreed to join the virtual Grand Prix series for this race at Melbourne this Sunday. That's going to be really cool. Also, F1 are allowing us to vote for the next F1 Rewind that is coming this Wednesday. We have one Saturday, today, the day of recording this this chat, of the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, and there is a section where we can vote for the next one on the Wednesday coming. And then I'll just do a little chit chat at the end based on a couple series that are possibly coming out in the future, and also the review for the virtual Grand Prix series as a whole. So let's get straight into our first story. This comes from Sky News. I know, I couldn't find the fact that Giovinazzi and Jenson Button have joined the virtual Grand Prix series on the F1 website. It just didn't exist. Anyway, as the headline says right there, Jenson Button will be teaming Lando Norris for McLaren in the F1 virtual Grand Prix series at Melbourne. The first little bit of the article didn't really say much more than I've already said. However, moving further into the article, it does say that he will be joining Johnny Herbert and Anthony Davidson. I've chopped off his N a little bit. Anyway, Button will be joining Johnny Herbert and Anthony Davidson on the field this Sunday, and also along with 6 other F1 drivers. So that is now 30% of the F1 drivers, almost a third of them are now on the grid for this race coming up. That is good. We're slowly getting there to all of them being involved and just having some fun. Also, what I really liked about Sky is they did this little table. A table list, I'm not sure what you want to call it, but it's actually saying who's taking part so far. It is missing Mercedes, Racing Point and AlphaTauri. I'm not too sure who they're going to be putting in. Probably Mercedes will probably stick to who they had last time, Gutierrez and Van Dorn. Alfa Romeo have decided. AlphaTauri, honestly I don't know. Whoever wants to get in that's involved with Red Bull. And then Racing Point, it may still be Nico Hülkenberg and Jimmy Broadbent. I don't know, haven't heard much. We'll have to wait and see. It's odd though that Anthony Davidson, because I think he was driving the Haas before, but he's agreed to take part, but he doesn't know what team he's driving for. But seeming as he is from Sky, this could just be him saying, yes, I want to take part, but he's not actually going to be taking part, because no team has agreed to take him. So yeah, we have got some new names in there. Obviously the 2 Leclercs in Ferrari. We have Albon and Stokes in the Red Bull. We have Norris keeping his seat at McLaren alongside Button. Giovinazzi and Herbert in Alfa Romeo. If you remember, Herbert was in the last one where he cut the corner massively at Bahrain, got into the lead for the first lap or so. Russell is joined by Latifi. It is an all F1 driver lineup at Williams. Then moving to Haas, Pietro Fittipaldi and Louis Delatraz are in the Haas there, and then Andre Himgartner and Christian Lundgaard in the Renault. So there are some new names in there. I will be covering a little thing to do with this in the chat at the very end of this video. So yes, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be good. Hopefully Mercedes, Racing Point and AlphaTauri reveal who their drivers are soon, as it is tomorrow evening, at the same time as the Queen's little speech that she's going to be doing to the nation. If you're from the UK, probably don't care otherwise, if you're not. I'll probably just be watching both at the same time, so I don't want to miss anything from the Queen. Anyway, I think that's all there is to say about this article so far. Just wanted to add the fact that a new F1 driver is in there, and Button has also been confirmed. So moving on, now we go back to the Formula 1 website. You can vote. You can pick the classic race that you want us to stream next Wednesday. Easy as that. There are 3 races to choose from. As you can see, I have already voted. You could choose from the 1997 European Grand Prix, where Schumacher and Villeneuve face off for the title. I believe that was at Jerez. And then the 1996 Spanish Grand Prix, the sensational Schumacher takes his first Ferrari win in the wet. And the 1987 British Grand Prix, where Mansell hunts down Piquet in Silverstone thriller. Now, the reason I voted for 1996, simply because I've seen enough of the 1997 little clips and bits to know pretty much what goes on. And then I didn't vote for the 1987 race because we had a 1986 one where Mansell lost the title in Australia last week. So I went for the 1996 one for Schumacher's first victory. It's still going to be a cracking race. And yes, they are doing one today as well at 3 p.m. for the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix as well. And there we go. That was just a little quick F1 chat there. I just wanted to pop another one out just before the review comes out because of Giovinazzi and Button being announced, and also the voting. I quite like the idea that they're getting us involved. They're just not picking a random one. We can actually choose the selection that we want from their little pool, or their giant pool, of the races that they have. Anyway, like I said a little bit earlier, I do want to just cover a small bit to do with the Grand Prix series as a whole. So if you have not seen my Bahrain review, I'll pop a little card in the corner and maybe a link in the description as well. But in there, I talked about possibly doing like a championship at the end, because I know the actual promoters of it don't really care too much for it. But I thought, heck, why not? I want to try and do something. I didn't in the Bahrain video, but I did discuss it. And now for the Melbourne one, I will actually be introducing a championship. However, it won't just look like this championship here. So this is what it would have been like. This is literally the Bahrain results. Zhou finishing first, Van Dorn, Eng, Broadbent, Norris, Latifi, Salvadori, Redeye, Boganovic and Gutierrez scoring the points in the traditional sense that the points run in the normal F1 world: 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and 1. I will still run a championship like this. However, like I thought, or like I said in the Bahrain video, and like has come true, the driver lineup has changed. So what I will instead do, I really needed to redo that arrow, that's dreadful. Annoyingly, I can't change my arrow because it's going to delete all my animations on the next slide. So we're going to have to stick with an ugly looking arrow for the time being. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I will still run this championship in the conventional sense of their points adding up, even though Zhou and Poulter will not be driving for Renault in the next race. This will not affect the constructors, because obviously all 10 of the constructors will still be running both cars. Hopefully, if Mercedes, Racing Point and AlphaTauri actually release their driver lineup. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in how many races each driver has done. So obviously we are going to get some repeat races. So Norris and Latifi are going to be on 2 races. So I'm just going to add up how many races each driver has done. I will then do a little percentage. So this percentage is based off of, if I remember rightly, the points that they scored in that one race, based on the total percentage of the points that they could have earned in the races that they have done. I hope I explained that well. I should have scripted this bit, not done it off the top of my head. Anyway, so Zhou has 100% percentage because he's done one race and he has scored 25 points for coming first, and there are only 25 points that you can win or score from doing one race. So he has 100% of the points available to him. Van Dorn has 72 because he got 18, so that's 18 out of 25. Eng is 15 out of 25, Broadbent 12 out of 25, and so on and so forth down to the last point scorer of Gutierrez. So hopefully if Norris scores some more points next time, he'll have 2 races under his belt, and then you will then add up his points. So you'll add up his fifth place with 10 points to his, say he gets another 5th place, so he'll then have a total of 20 points to his name, but he'd have done 2 races. There were 50 points available, so his new percentage would be 20 over 50. I hope that sort of does make sense. I think it does. I've then going to do a new points system. I've simply just taken off the percent sign and we'll keep it like that. So if Zhao never returns to the Formula 1 world at all, to the Virtual Grand Prix series, which would be a shame because he did quite well, he will stay on 100 points because that's it. He's just done one race, he smashed it, he got the victory. It's similar to how Brawn are technically the best constructor in the world statistically. They entered one championship with 2 drivers, they won the constructors, and they won the drivers. Then they left. Well, they didn't leave, they had no money, but technically they're the best constructor in the world, statistically. Like percentage-wise. So that's how I'm going to work it out. It will look a little bit better than this, and obviously I will then add on a difference at the end, and you can see that there are some large-ish gaps, but they will sort themselves out if we have 4 or 5 races down the line. It will mean that no one is going to go above 100 points, so we're not going to have people that get 2 victories get to 200 points. It's not going to work in a conventional point scoring system. We will have people gaining and losing points, but over the season as a whole, there we go, it will eventually sort itself out and balance, I think, quite nicely into a cool order. But it also would not surprise me if Zhao stays at the top, because if he only does 1 race, then that's it. He's pretty lucky at the minute. So that's my thinking behind the drivers. I will still run the table on the left and the table on the right. The table on the right won't have those last 3 columns. It won't have the percentage thing. It will have the number of races that they've done, their new points and the difference. I'll just get rid of the percentage and then readjust the sizes of the columns and stuff so it's not all spaced out like it is. I don't have to change anything for the constructors, simply because the teams will still run 2 drivers, so the constructors isn't going to have to change regardless of the fact they've changed their drivers. And there we go. That was a nice little quick F1 chat. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all for the next video, which will be my Virtual Melbourne Grand Prix review. I'll see you then.